Okay, so the title of this video is a lie. We don't talk about Bruno. It's obviously. Welcome back to me talking about things months after they're relevant. Society has moved on, but I'm still losing my mind over Encanto. Encanto. Surface Pressure and What Else Can I Do are two of the strongest character-driven /focused songs in not only Encanto, but maybe all of Disney? All of musical history? I don't know. I just like it, and I'm here to talk about why. While it's a downfall of some other stories, I think having Mirabelle present and at the center works extremely well for Encanto's entire narrative, but especially these two songs. This being because it makes the songs not only us getting to know Isabella and Luisa better, but a conversation between Mirabelle and her sisters. This is good for both of them for separate reasons, but in common, this gives Mirabelle perspective on her sisters' lives as the gifted ones that she hasn't really seen before. That builds to her revelation at the climax of the movie.
I will never be good enough for you. Luisa will never be strong enough. Isabella won't be perfect enough.
But let's talk about the separate advantages. I noticed this more on like my second or third rewatch, but it's shown throughout the movie that Mirabelle and Luisa have a pretty strong bond / relationship. There are little shots of Luisa just like winking at her and reassuring her and stuff. This is important because this shapes Surface Pressure to being not only Luisa revealing how stressful her life as the oldest and the strongest is, but also trying to reassure her sister that she can actually carry it all. And that just makes for a really interesting tone for the song, both how it's represented visually and lines like "give it to your sister, it doesn't hurt, and see if she can handle every family burden. Watch as she buckles and bends, but never breaks. No mistakes." These elements work together to create an interesting balance of a cry for help, but also still trying to keep the image together that she can handle everything. Together, it makes this sentiment of kind of sarcasm, I guess. It's really hard to word, but I'm gonna assume you know what I mean. Then in the case of What Else Can I Do, it's not really a secret. Mirabelle and Isabella don't really like each other. As often happens in toxic families where the child that's labeled the golden child for being perfect or making the family look good because of a skill or something is resented by their siblings. These two's relationship is built from miscommunication and misunderstanding of each other, especially when the song is taking place in the story. We'll get deeper into that later. But saying on how Mirabelle's relationship with her sister shapes this one, this makes the song both Isabella reaching out to her sister for the first time, expressing how difficult and fake being the golden child is, which again gives Mirabelle perspective and lessens her dislike of her sister, and also Isabella, with Mirabelle's encouragement, breaking from that restrictiveness and exploring herself and her abilities in a way she isn't allowed to because of the pressure put on her. Am I spitting? Because I can't really tell. Is this making sense? Hold on, I'm highlighting the things again because I can't read. But wait, if I could shake this crushing weight of expectations, would that free some room up for joy or relaxation or simple pleasure? Instead we measure this growing pressure. Keeps growing, keep going, 'cause all I know is pressure like a drip, drip, drip that'll never stop. Whoa. Pressure that'll tip, tip, tip till you just go pop. Whoa. Okay, sorry. Now we're reading again. Despite their similarities as far as cause goes, the two songs are very different tonally, partially because of them being reflective of their relationships with Mirabelle, or how they fit into the plot, or how they end in general. Surface Pressure is very intense and dramatic. This is achieved by the repeating ticking noise and heavy percussion, the deep dramatic lighting, and how all the scenarios Luisa puts herself up against in the song are so massive and impossible, even for her. The lyrics have this vibe of hopelessly positive, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm having a hard time defining it. Just this sense that everything will be okay even if I'm not okay. Also, the dramatic shift not only in visuals but musically when Luisa describes what her life could be like if she wasn't constantly under pressure. The music is more melodic and soft with no percussion. She's soaring in a beautifully lit, elegant, serene, and peaceful sky of pastel colors. And the second that moment ends, we're instantly pulled back to this dysphoric red lighting and Luisa being crushed to death. And then don't know what that means. On the other hand, Issa's song is similar in tone to Let It Go from Frozen. I'm not explaining that comparison. I'm sure you get it. Because of context, Issa's response is completely different to Lisa's at the point when she's singing her song. For the first time, she feels free to explore new things and just grow what she feels instead of feeling burdened by her abilities like Luisa, or like usual for her. Isabella embraces them while also embracing who she actually is or wants to be. This makes this song have such an uplifting and inspiring tone, especially from the bridge to the end of the song. Mostly because, again, Isabella finally reaches out to Mirabelle about how badly she's hurting from pretending all the time, and Mirabelle finally actually sees her and her strife, all of which is handled beautifully musically, by the way. Also, as the song goes on longer, and especially in the last chorus, Isabella goes off the rails with her imagination / creativity and what she can grow and do, which leads to her first of 2 redesigns in the movie. And I think that works wonderfully as a visual depiction of her growth throughout the movie. The 2 songs are from very different parts of the story and thus are utilized in very different means by the plot, but similarly, because they're both conversations Mirabelle set to have in goals of saving the magic and released some of the pressure from her sisters, they are both in a way inciting incidents for Abuela / Mirabelle's confrontation.
Luisa's losing her powers. Isabella's out of control because of you.
I think What Else Can I Do excels on this particular point because of how much occurs in this song and how precisely all of those events lead into the last few parts of the movie. Firstly, before What Else Can I Do is when Bruno and Mirabelle see that without any other context, a hug will save the magic. This led Mirabelle to, without any actual emotional reconciliation, seek a hug, not realizing that's not the point. Only when Mirabelle drops this and actually listens to what Issa is actually saying does she, without her knowledge, start working towards what was important, her reconciling and, in a sense, freeing her sister. What's able to help the magic? Jesus Christ, I did not proofread this bottom part, which is what actually is what's able to help the magic. Secondly, in a domino effect, Isabella makes a cactus, and this pushes her to explore being sporadic and impulsive, to be true to herself and how she's feeling. With Mirabelle's encouragement, she grows succulent, bigger and bigger, which splinters off into 2 effects. We'll get to the other in a second, but firstly, the spraying pollen colors her dress, which again is a great visual signifier of her character growth, but it also is a great visual signifier of, thirdly, when Issa grows bigger and bigger succulents, they grow beyond La Casita and cover the whole town. Abuela sees this and then sees Isabella. There's this small moment when Abuela returns, gets to the house, and starts berating Mirabelle, in which Issa tries to rub off the colorful pollen in shame. See, the colorful dress is also a great signifier for Abuela's perspective on how much Mirabelle is fucking everything up.
Isabella's out of control because of you.
Although Abuela saw everything going out of control, I think Isabella's dress is also a signifier of that, especially because the dress is so randomly designed and out of control. That made sense, I think. As for surface pressure, there's a lot less to say about its place narratively, mostly because it's so early in the movie and barely anything has happened. I still think it's really important. When considering its narrative place in the story, the line, "see if she can handle every family burden," comes to mind. I'm gonna reach just a little bit because it's not explicitly stated, but it makes sense to me that because Luisa worries easily and cares very much for her family, she also is very observant and asks a lot of questions, especially when it comes to losing the magic and the house falling apart. I say all this to say it makes sense with the rest of her problems. Luisa would keep any secrets and information she has bottled up to herself, and her singing the song and opening up a little bit about her issues made it feel a little safer to tell Mirabelle the limited information she had. Then there's just personal taste. I really just think these songs go absolutely crazy. They are so catchy and so fun to sing, and I especially love both of the bridges. And what else can I do? The last part is just so wholesome and makes me feel very warm. Also, this part at the end is my absolute favorite.
You're a bad influence.
Literally, the 6 or 7 times I listened to this song for the purpose of making this video, I just kept replaying that part. There's just so many little things, and the line delivery is just so fun. It makes me so happy. And with Surface Pressure, the visuals are so cool and fun and fast, and it's just so fun to watch. And this song has so many tracks. I don't know if that's the technical term, I'm not a producer, but like, there's a lot of sounds happening in the background, and every listen you can just choose to sing a different part. Also, Luisa's voice actress, Jessica Darrow. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that. Darrow. Did a jazzier live cover of the song that slays so hard. Please listen to it. I will leave a link in the description. What else can I do? Has amazing visuals. It's all so pretty and lively, and the visual difference in A, color palette, and B, the placement of the plants in the beginning verse versus the end of the song are so great. But what I mean is, like, with how perfect and planned all the flowers in Issa's room are versus how sporadic the succulents are, as well as all the flowers being in the same family of the color wheel and all the same tone versus at the end it's dominated by a darker, more rebellious color with a bright, very random variety of colors surrounding that dark color. I felt inclined to make this video because at this point there's seemed to be only 3 real talking points surrounding Encanto. Generational trauma / toxic families and how perfectly it's handled in the narrative. The whole LGBT discourse, which you should watch Are They Gay's video because it's insanely good. And oops, I don't remember what number 3 was. In general, I just didn't see a lot of people really go in on these two's characterization and their songs, so I really wanted to, and it was fun. I don't know what I'm saying here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, stick around, leave a like, subscribe, tell me what you thought in the comments. I'd love to chat. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I post art there very often, and I currently have commissions open. Well, that's it. Bye.